Warning, the following content may not be suitable for all listeners and contains crude humor that may be offensive to some. Listener discretion is advised. This is Satire is Not Dead. Welcome to podcast number 1 of Satire is Not Dead. I am your host, Harvey, and this time around we'll be keeping it short so that I can sort of set the tone as to what kind of content I'll be putting into my podcasts. I'm going to do that by telling you of an experience I had, and it all ties into this COVID-19 dilemma we're in. It's got us so upside down that this was a few weeks ago when the pandemic thing was at the height of its, everybody was just really shitting themselves over it. It was a Monday, and unless you're independently wealthy, if you're a freaking lottery winner, Mondays just stink. I was going into this convenience store, and just to preface all this, I live in the Deep South, and South Central Louisiana, about an hour from the Gulf of Mexico, that part of the ocean that looks like fucking chocolate milk with dead fish in it. That's where I live. It's not as Deep South, southern as the Georgias and the Carolinas, but still, we're Deep South. I was going into this convenience store, and I'm sure in other parts of the country it's the same, customary thing. But down here, I have a narrow worldview, so this is my custom. If you're approaching a public establishment and the glass, you can see through the door. You see someone approaching the door. Whomever reaches the door handle first holds the door open for the other person. That's just the way it is, and sometimes you go into a restaurant and you get there from the outside first, and you got a whole fucking cavalcade of people coming out. They just like, I don't give a shit, and or they're walking out. You might stand there for 5 minutes letting everybody out before you can get in. But anyway, I was going into this convenience store, and I see this old man on the inside, and I get there, I'm not a young man, but I'm a lot younger than he was. Reached the door handle, pulled it open, and stand aside and kind of use my left hand to, gesture, come on through. And he gives me this, that's not 6 feet. And I'm thinking, you motherfucker, the door has to be 3 feet wide, and honestly, I measured my arm before from shoulder to fingertip. It's 2.5 feet long. I'm like, is that not fucking close enough for you? And this guy, he looked like, I don't know if anybody has, if you don't know it, look it up. He looked like the dog owner on Courage the Cowardly Dog. I mean, he's freaking, if I could have pulled his glasses off, I could probably have burned down most of the shit in the parking lot, put that in the sun. And I'm thinking, what is that? Is this not good enough? I mean, we're almost 6 feet, but he, if you look at him, he was an old guy. Look at him from the side; he had the physique of a question mark. Looked like the dog on Courage, the Cowardly Dog. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Just fucking stand there and let him push the door? He probably would have shit himself trying to push the door open, because pulling and pushing are two different things. Be rude and not open the door for him, or when he got this 6 feet, let the door go and fucking, the pneumatic arm pull it back into him. But it's just, I was offended and amused all at the same time. It was just really weird, because that's where we are right now. This thing has got everyone so upside down. I mean, you have guys like him, and sure, he's an old guy. He probably couldn't fight it off if he caught it, and fine, that's fine. But there's the polar opposite in public. You see these young guys coming, they'll coming out of a convenience store. They're basically blowing fucking snot rockets on the sidewalk right next to you. They're like, totally self-absorbed and don't care about a thing in the world, which is really nice. I mean, I wish I was back to that point, but, you know, it is what it is. But it was at that point that I just said, you know, whatever, fuck it. If it kills me, it kills me. And I was just so, it brought me to a point where I'm like, our government has brought us to this point, and, you know, it's not their fault. I'm not saying who did what and whose fault it is and why and all that, but we're here to deal with the mess. This old guy, I wanted to just grab him by the shirt collar. I mean, he looked like his pants were pulled up to the point, I mean, honestly, he had the male octogenarian version of a camel toe in front, and if in the back, his frickin' inseam was basically giving him a procto exam. And because of the way he looked, I was like, you know, offended and amused at the same time. Like, oh, come on through. I didn't say anything, but I'm like, you motherfucker, what would you have me do? But it's just such a bizarre time in this country. And that's what this podcast is, hopefully will help us forget about for just a short time. I'm going to be doing satirical pieces, news stories, and maybe even real news stories, and I'll put my own satirical spin on it and point out how stupid things are. I'd like to thank freesound.org for providing the tools that I was looking for. It's a website that is what it sounds like. Everything is absolutely free. So I encourage you to go browse their website. There's a lot of talented people contributing to the website, and you can use their content as long as you give them credit. And it is absolutely free, once again, but you can make donations, and I encourage you to do so. I do so when I can. And just go take a look around, because there's some talented musicians on there who are putting up some studio quality music. So go take a look. I'll be providing links to all the contributors whose material that I downloaded. I didn't use it all in this podcast, but I will be using it in the future. I'd like to leave you with my final thought for this podcast. I went out in public recently, kind of easing back into it. Stores are crowded. I never thought about the process of just leaving the store and getting into your vehicle. So many steps. When I got in my car, I sat in the driver's seat. First thing I did was reach for the hand sanitizer. And I realized, squeezed it out, put it on my hands, keys, my phone, that hand sanitizer had now become Frank's Red Hot Sauce. Hand sanitizer. We put that shit on everything.